Hi class. So for our second video this week, I want to talk about text design specifically as it relates to resumes. We're going to look at one resume, which comes from the University of Pennsylvania's Career Services Department. I think this is a really well-designed resume. And I want to look at four different aspects of this resume: the organization, the use of active white space, the vertical lines in it, and also the use of quadrants. And I'd recommend you go ahead and pause the video and download a copy. I've put links in both of the video description and also on Blackboard. So the first thing I want to talk about is organization. Organization is important in resumes because you want to help hiring managers read your resume quickly. They're probably only going to spend a handful of seconds on each resume, so you want to make sure that you're able to give them your most important qualifications effectively. So in terms of this one, what we can say is that resumes, like all other documents, are going to be read top to bottom and left to right. So the most important information should be at the top and should be on the left-hand side of the page. In this case, the author of the resume uses the left-hand side of the page to show different categories. Up at the top, there is the education and research. There's also the applicant's name, which really can help and is bolded, and it's really obvious who is applying. But the different information along the left is being organized according to the importance of it for the job. So education is most important, research is second in this case, and service and work experience for this particular job might not be as important as far as the applicant is understanding the job requirements. So the second thing that we should notice is the use of active white space. So white space is any blank area of the page where there's no text being used. And what active use of white space says is that it's actually helping you break up information, create little blocks of information. So we can see a lot of white space here. First of all, we can see that there's a white space all around the author's name. This really sets off this little area of the author's name and contact information as an individual block. But we can see the exact same type of thing being used for each of the major experiences is being discussed. So you can see a little bit of white space around everything around each block of information, and these then start to appear as blocks, and that can really help someone scan through your resume quickly, see the important information, relate different pieces all together, and it can really help them to be able to use your resume quickly. So the third thing I want to talk about is the vertical line test. What this basically says is that information that is of a similar type or similar importance should be in vertical lines up and down your resume. So what we can see is actually on the left, there are all these categories. Those are in the vertical lines. All of the main sections are in a vertical line here. All of the descriptions of those experiences you can find in a vertical line that's on a list, and they're all at the same level. And also all of the years when these experiences happened are also in a vertical line over here. And this can just help organize information, help build some expectations of where information is going to occur on the page, and it can really help someone to read your resume quickly again and find the information they need. So the final test I want to talk to you about is the quadrant test. You can basically do this by folding your resume into quarters. So if you go ahead and fold it once and fold it twice, it can help to show you the balance of information on the page. We can also use the ruler again to make these quadrants a little bit more obvious. But basically the important thing with the quadrant test is that there's information in all quadrants and that the page feels somewhat balanced. So what we can actually see here is that there isn't just information crammed into one of these four quadrants, but there's information in all four, which might be important. Of course, this upper left quadrant is going to be the most important given the organization of reading that we've talked about in the past, that we talked about earlier with the top to bottom, left to right. This is where the most important information should go. But this quadrant down here shouldn't be wholly blank if you can find a way to make sure that your page design uses the entire page and gives it some balance like that. So I hope those four concepts help you a little bit as you're designing your resume, and of course hopefully it just reinforces some of the things that you're reading elsewhere in your textbook and in the different links that we're looking at this week. And one of the things which we're going to ask you to do this week is to find a resume online and to analyze it. So hopefully this can help you analyze some of that too and think about what the resume might be doing well or what might need a little bit of improvement on. So I look forward to talking to you about job search documents throughout the week, and I'll see you on Slack and elsewhere.